you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Who can I trust? Is
Mhm.
anyone reliable? Maybe they're all reliable
Yeah.
and I'm interpreting it wrong. So it just, you're guessing the whole time, which I
So
really
did you
like
feel
that.
like it was an unreliable narrator?
Well, I think that's up to the reader.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Welcome back to Best in Show Books, a booktube channel by Naughty Dog Books. I'm Jeanna.
And I'm Shelby.
Today we have picked an exciting thriller for you. What is it, Shelby?
We have a psychological thriller. It is Havoc by Christopher Bollen. There's a lot of craziness. So
a lot of havoc.
Yes, a lot of havoc. Exactly. So Jeanna, why don't you give us a little bit about the author?
Okay, Christopher Bollen is an American author, and I totally spaced where you told me he was actually
He's from Cincinnati.
Okay, he writes character-driven literary mysteries. So I kind of felt like I was reading an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Yes.
Like it reminded me very much of that feel of mystery. Not sure what's happening.
And I think the setting also kind of lends itself to that Hitchcockian feel. It's in this luxury resort on the banks of the Nile, which also, funnily enough, has a tie back to Agatha Christie because I saw an interview with the author and he said he was at the resort where Agatha Christie spent part of her time writing Death on the Nile. And while he was there, he observed some people at the resort in their natural habitats, and that kind of got his wheels turning and led him to start writing Havoc. And in the interview I saw, he said he knew right away, like that was the story. And I love that.
What was our plot?
Havoc is about an 81-year-old named Maggie Burkhart. And like I said, she is a long-term resident at this resort on the Nile. And the book takes place during COVID, which kind of explains why they are long-term residents. You have the entry-exit requirements. So all these people are kind of staying put. And the resort has a very kind of White Lotus feel. It's kind of got an old school, upscale feel to it. And Maggie rules the roost. She has all of her little routines.
She's got her fingers in all the
She's
social
a busy
pies.
old lady.
Yes, she is.
Very, like, she's busy with her schedule, but she's also busy in other people's business.
Yes, she is. The busybody.
Exactly. So Maggie is at the resort, and one of her most cherished routines is ringing the bell every night at sunset, and it brings all the residents together. They come and they watch the sunset and they take a few minutes of quiet and togetherness. And Maggie really lives for this bell ringing moment. Don't come between Maggie and her bell. So one day, a little boy who's 8 years old checks into the hotel with his mother. The mother checks in alone. And so immediately Maggie is like, where's the husband? This poor little boy. He's very delicate. And so she says, why don't I show you guys the local kind of haunts? They go through the market and they go to a tour. Maggie takes them on a private Maggie tour of this tomb. At one point, the mother stays outside and Maggie takes Otto down there. And that is really the first taste that we see that Otto is not this sweet little boy. And he
shows his colors.
He shows his colors.
He's smart. You get that from the very beginning that he's very smart, but he's manipulative.
Very.
And he shows that he has a cruel streak.
Yeah.
I mean, because at this point, he then lies that she's hurt him in some way.
He goes back and is like, Mom!
Yeah, like she's pinched him or bit him or something on it. I can't remember exactly, on his ear. And Mom's like, what's happening? And they leave, and then he blackmails.
He blackmails her. This 8-year-old blackmails an 81-year-old. And, you know, Maggie feels like she has everything to lose. This is her home. These are her people. And here's this little boy who has come in and he's ready to upend it all. And so it really is described by the author as a war between generations. Because not only is Otto manipulative, but he just doesn't realize how manipulative Maggie is.
Oh, she's out for revenge from the beginning.
Yes. And she is not about to let anybody, not even an 8-year-old, take her place at this hotel. And that also, I feel like, gives it this Hitchcockian feel because the whole book is a game of sinister cat and mouse, tit for tat, back and forth. What was one thing, and I'm going to see if we're remembering the same thing, that Otto did that really just put Maggie over the edge and really just kick-started this this feud.
I feel like what kickstarted it and really escalated the revenge, because it went from I don't know how to handle you to revenge.
Yes.
Was when he took the bell.
Yes.
And
that's
decided
it.
he was going to ring it and draw everybody in and take that as his job. And he even looks at her right in the eye and smiles like,
Here's
my
my
bell. And I feel like revenge escalates from there to the point of, oh my goodness.
It was just wild.
I found it very interesting that it was generational. Like you've got this 8-year-old and an 81-year-old that are literally battle of the wits and schemes and revenge. Like he's smart enough to find out things about her through like the internet
Yes.
and research, and yet she's manipulative and cruel enough to take revenge on an 8-year-old,
right,
in ways that I'm like, whoa.
And that's the thing, at times it was hard to divorce, like this is an 8-year-old.
But then my mom has dementia, and there's a drug that she takes in this that is a dementia related drug that helps with anxiety and hallucinations. The hotel manager, which she has a relationship with, is always reminding her, did you pick up your prescription? Did you take it? And so you start to get this picture of who's crazy, who's not crazy, what's real, what's not real. Is he really manipulating her, or is she hallucinating?
And that was another escalation, because at one point the pills are gone.
Yes.
The pharmacy says, we already sent the pills.
Yes.
And she doesn't get them. And so she immediately is like, Otto has done this.
Yes.
So
she blames him for everything.
Yes. And she's not wrong all the time,
No.
And a lot of the book was like, one of them finds out something the other one values, and then the other one destroys that thing and makes them cry.
Yes. I feel like Otto's manipulation is always just on her, but when she takes revenge, she doesn't think of the consequences for others that are kind of
she's so wrapped up in it.
Yes. She's like, okay, this is something he enjoys or he likes, and I'm going to destroy it. But there's collateral damage around, and it affects the people she truly cares about within the hotel. It's a level of revenge that's beyond belief. I mean,
really,
it really is. And there's some characters through this book that you feel like maybe minor characters, and they're just mentioned a couple of times, but some of the things that happen to them or around them, you find yourself feeling different about the character.
Yes.
Because the Seif, the bird keeper, he seems grumpy and mean and doesn't really like anybody until Otto comes along and he makes friends with Otto. But
Otto likes the birds. They have a big, in my head, it was like a big atrium-ish bird cage thing.
Yeah. Like, I feel like when you go to the zoo and they have the butterflies or the little pidgeys or whatever those birds are that land on your hand that are all the colors.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what they were in. But when things progress through the book and something happens,
and we won't tell you exactly, but I'll tell you enough to say Otto really cared for the birds.
Yeah.
So, and Maggie knew that Otto cared for the birds.
But I even felt bad for Seif, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
The bird keeper.
The bird keeper. He, like I said, I feel like everything that Otto did affected Maggie. Like he was targeting her. She did things in revenge to target Otto, but it had so much collateral damage that you couldn't help but think, wow, she's destroying herself. She's unraveling.
Which you would think, if you had a vengeful, murderous 8-year-old and a vengeful, murderous 81-year-old, you would think it would kind of be the inverse, that it would be the child who is, I don't want to say sloppy in their revenge, but not really caring about who is hurt and how. But maybe that speaks more about Otto and his evilness. It was like Damien from The Omen.
Bad seed.
The bad seed.
Yes.
There's this little boy who, I imagined him always kind of slightly tilted, ringing the bell with his glasses.
And I picture this great big round glasses, like it was sloppy because she's not cruel.
Yeah.
Otto.
She's not exacting.
Yes.
She made her own reality.
Yeah, she did.
And that is kind of a theme of the book.
I agree with that for sure.
Whether you think that Otto really did these things or whether you think she really did these things. The whole book was so open-ended, I feel like.
She's unraveling. Like she's spiraling.
Yes.
And is she spiraling because Otto was the straw that broke that camel's back, or was he just in that orbit while she was...
I watched an interview with the author, and I don't remember if I already said this or not. So if I did, forgive me. But he said that as he was writing, he really enjoyed the descent into madness.
No, you didn't say that, but I like that.
Okay, yeah. So maybe I'm going mad. The descent into madness, as he just wrote this tit for tat, and it got more intense, and it peaks and peaks. And that really was exactly what happened here. And it was very much something would happen to Maggie, and she's 0 to 100.
Yeah.
She has escalated it immediately.
Yeah.
But then Otto would do the exact same thing. So it's hard to be like, it was just her, because truly it was not just her.
It wasn't. And I feel like the manager of the hotel, her friends that she has cocktails and dinner with, the bird keeper, another person at the hotel that you kind of learn about, they all suffer because of Maggie's revenge.
Yes.
So
again, I think that goes back to Otto is the 8-year-old mastermind. Like, I feel like he was playing this game of revenge like 10 steps ahead.
Oh yeah.
And it was Maggie who was struggling to like cobble it together, because he knew, okay, well, if I do this to this person and it affects their job, that's going to affect their time with Maggie. Yes. And Maggie is going to feel upset that they're not spending time with them. And then Maggie, it all was like,
because he manipulated the friends to like him, to want to be with him. And she got jealous. She got jealous that her friends were now befriending somebody that was so mean to her, and she couldn't understand that. But yet she never said anything.
That's always the problem. Nobody ever communicates.
I know. And I got so aggravated a couple of times, because I'm like, if she had just told a couple of times the things that she believed Otto did, which I'm pretty sure he did, that maybe somebody might have helped her and realized that she was struggling.
Yeah.
But she kept everything to herself, and she's like, I'm in control. I got this.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was part of her descent into this madness as well, as trying to hold it all together all by herself.
I think even early on, you see how intensely she manipulates everybody around her, even excluding this thing with Otto, because there are times where she'll just be like, oh, my hip, my knees,
ankle,
and then Otto comes in and she's like, oh, well, I'm okay to crawl through the bushes and spy on this kid. And
it's 125 degrees in the desert, and she's taking them on a tour of the tombs in the middle of the afternoon.
I wouldn't do that.
No, because even the hotel manager, he's like,
you shouldn't go. It's not safe.
You even helped me write a sign to tell these people only go in the morning, and here you are taking them. She's like, oh no, I got it. We're just gonna have water and we're fine. So you never know if her physical ailments are used to her advantage when she wants them to be.
Yeah.
Or if she's just trudging along and working through it as she's crawling through the bushes and sneaking around the hotel and going through tombs.
The overall theme of the book is trust no one and nothing.
No.
You as the reader, trust no one, trust nothing.
This is true.
Because you are in for a wild ride full of havoc.
And I'm not going to compare it because it is a completely different genre with Sixth Sense, but I feel like until you get to the end, then you go back and put the clues together.
Oh yeah.
Then you go back and
Shutter Island, you did the same thing. You're like, oh.
After you read it, you're like, because again, when I got to the end, I'm like, I don't know. But as we've talked about it and as we dissect it, I'm like, oh, I should have picked up on that. Or why didn't I see that one coming? Or that makes more sense now. And then you still question it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I still go, but was she?
And I feel like that's something that makes a good book. We're going to
so
much to discuss. Yeah, we'll still be talking about this after this episode wraps and we move on with our days. It is the whole story is less than 300 pages, which actually, not even less than 300. It's less than 250. It was really just a breakneck story. And I remember finishing it. And it kind of is one of those books that has an ending where you finish it and you shut it and you're like, wait a minute, what?
Yes.
And so then I was second guessing everything that I read. And I feel like that is such a good hallmark, whether you like an open-ended ending or not.
I'm going to be honest. When I first read it, I loved the book. But when I got to the ending, I was mad. Because I was like, it's not tied up in a bow. I like my endings tied up in a bow. I'm a Hallmark girl, literally. But we've discussed this a few times preparing for today. And the more I talk about it and the more I flesh it out, I'm like, okay. I like
that. You gotta sit with it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Because as you sit with it, as we talk about, was this real? Was she real? Did this really happen? Did Otto do a good thing or a bad thing? At the end. Yeah. I'm not going to give the end away because that's really like, so now I'm kind of going, oh, okay. I like this ending now. It's a quick read, it's a quick moving story, and it's a quick descent.
Yeah, cool. Very rapid descent
Yes.
into madness,
Absolutely.
like Christopher Bollen said. I really enjoyed
Mhm.
the open-ended ending because that is something you don't always see a lot anymore, because an author is like, here's my story, A, B, C, wrap it up, it's done. But this was like, oh, I have finished it, and yet have I finished it?
I agree. And I feel like with these book clubs and working here and us chatting books, I like finding new authors, new genres that I didn't know I would like. So I may like an open-ended.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some more open-ended books.
I may be open to that now.
Oh, yeah, good.
We hope that you enjoyed our book chat about Havoc by Christopher Bollen, and we hope that you want to read it. So let us know in the comments if you have read Havoc or any of his other books that maybe we might want to read, since we've not read his other stuff.
Or other open-ended thrillers, psychological suspense, because I feel like I'm in the mood for one right now.
Actually, after reading this, now I'm kind of like, okay, what else is out there?
Yeah.
And we're so glad you came, and we hope to see you on the next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching Best in Show Books. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Jeanna.
We'll see you next time.